COVID putting the whole world on pause just kind of opened up my mind to the possibility of breaking out of that box. As long as I'm committed and focused and there, it doesn't have to be this one set track. You cannot have everything. You have to choose. You have to make choices.
Welcome to the Search for More podcast, where each week we dive into the life of an individual to discover more about their journey and what's led them to their paths. Every single human being is searching for something in their lives. And as we all search for more, I hope you can find more here in this podcast. Today, I'm here with Paige, and we're here in Telluride, Colorado. Paige and I have known each other for the last 2 years. Paige has completed her Bachelor's of Science in Civil Engineering and her Master's in Sustainability Management. She graduated college in 2020 with the intention of using that degree to go to the Peace Corps. But we all know what happened in 2020. The world got tipped on its head. And as the world found itself confined, Paige found herself searching for freedom, leading her to travel around the United States, working minimum wage jobs while trying to search for maximum success and happiness. Now we find ourselves here today, same place we were 9 months ago, after both have traveled the world for 6 months or so. Mm-hmm. It's an honor to be able to sit here with Paige and have this conversation on camera, as we joked about this in a bar about a year ago. So here we are.
That was a great intro.
Thanks. My first question for you is, when it comes to living life, many would view the life that you've taken and decided for yourself as off the chosen path. What has led you here today?
I mean, I really attribute a lot of that to COVID. I think a lot of people know COVID shook up a lot of people's lives. And yeah, I would say exactly in this position today, I don't know if the route I was on would have been the same without a global pandemic, kind of giving me the freedom of the mind to step out of the box. I think if, I always was pushing the limits of this standard career path, especially joining Peace Corps, but I still kind of had this idea that I would go back into an office after that was done. And yeah, COVID putting the whole world on pause just kind of opened up my mind to the possibility of breaking out of that box. Made it easier, I think, in a lot of ways. So
I feel like a lot of people either got that opportunity or didn't. If you were lucky enough not to lose a loved one, it was this opportunity to pause, take life in for what it is, for what you're capable of having. And you refer to freedom of the mind, and what exactly in that allowed for you to have freedom of the mind? Because I think a lot of people are still looking for freedom of the mind.
COVID just kind of, showed me this structure of society, the control of society that's actually like in the individual's response. And that gave me personal freedom, in the sense of, just realizing you don't have to follow the structures. You can chase your own best interest.
Was that position celebrated for you at that time, or were you on your own on that path?
Isolated in my views, from popular public opinion. And I think that also offered me freedom in the sense of individuality. But yeah, definitely felt a little bit isolated.
And I feel like, again, when you're choosing the path that the majority is not taking, many people will frown upon that.
Yes.
Especially when you can reflect the fears that they haven't pursued.
And I think that actually all goes back to the freedom, is the strength in going against the public opinion. That the opportunity I had to exert that strength for myself gave me the strength to then continue to do it in the rest of the aspects of my life. So yeah, I just feel a lot less scared today to break away from any certain box or structure or defined direction.
This is the Search for More podcast. So what does searching for more mean to you?
I feel like I'm at this point, I'm 26 now, in my life where searching has become less visual and physical and much more like inward. And I guess visual in the sense of, I don't know, I've spent a lot of years, the past few years, I need to explore this. I need to see this place. I need to experience this culture. I need to dive into this idea. I need to meet all of these people, looking for the most perfect thing in all those aspects. And I think searching now for me is seeing what's right in front of me for the amazing value and worth it has. I've just come back to Colorado. I left for, 8 months. And I'm just so thankful to be in this space that I thought before wasn't perfect. And I thought I had to keep looking for more. And not to say that I'm totally done, exploring and adventuring, but searching right now for me is definitely seeing what's already in front of me. These relationships I've had now in my life for multiple years, these places that I've now developed community connections with, careers, jobs that I've put so much time into, just appreciating the beauty in all of those things that already exist for me.
Do you think you would have been able to do that before the exploring and traveling? Do you think you could have come to this place where you're at right now without?
I think possibly, but it would have taken much longer. Yeah. Traveling alone, I'm sure you know. I'm sure a lot of people that are watching this know. Just the experience of that is so incredible, but also very emotionally draining and taxing. And
exhausting.
Yeah, exhausting. Yeah. And I don't know, it makes you appreciate the things you have when you feel alone and you feel socially overwhelmed. So, yeah.
These are things I can all attest to, and I think I've experienced thoroughly in traveling alone. I think maybe, believe it or not, I don't think most listeners have gone and done it. Female or male have gone and gotten the chance to go and kind of see the world that we have. And I mean, it's not all negative, right? It's not all exhausting and hard. There's so much beauty to it. And I think there's even beauty in being alone because you're more approachable, which is a double-edged sword. But in being alone, you have all these incredible encounters and you meet so many people. But as you said, there's a social overwhelm. I don't want to tell my story today. I don't want to explain my life. I don't want to tell you everything or everywhere I've been or all this stuff. I just want to sit and be able to sit with you and be me. Yeah. But you don't know me. So how can I not explain that? Or how can I not communicate in all these different ways? Or also, too, I don't know if you felt this, but just being a woman and always figuring everything out on your own. Yeah. I'm not saying you need a man to do that. But there is a component of leaning into female creativity that I think is contingent on the ability to lean into the presence of somebody. That doesn't have to be a man. That could be a woman. That could be community. That could be anything. And I think in specific female solo traveling, that's where it feels less like an adventure and less like an exploration and more of this task in certain ways. Yeah. Again, that's one side of it. It's so multifaceted that...
Yeah. It's just hard sometimes.
It's true. And I think it's so idealized, though. Yeah. Because everyone's like, you just traveled around the world and you just...
Absolutely, yes. And when I was saying socially overwhelmed too, you lean into the other thing about being approachable and needing to lean into people. I feel so welcomed. I mean, everywhere I've ever traveled alone, I've felt, even when there's pushback from the community in its own way, I don't know. I feel safe. The people around me are supporting me, even though they don't know me, even though it's, and that to me is overwhelming in the sense of this world is just so full of opportunity that you I don't know. I just feel like sometimes I really could just start my life over right now, right here in this. I really could just like leave everything again and do like, and you meet so many incredible people. You're like, wow, this could be my best friend. But what best, first off, there's a language barrier. Second, we don't, our lives are so different. What am I going to move here to make this my best friend? That's what I mean by appreciating what I have in front of me, because I think this world is really beautiful and overwhelming.
Like all the multiple unknowns with travel, they're beautiful, right? And they're full of opportunity, but they're always unknown.
It's stress.
Oh, yeah.
It's stressors. Unknown is literally a stressor. Yeah. Yes.
Which we used to be okay with. And
Yeah.
then society.
Yeah. I know, but then also it's like, that's what I'm saying. You figure it out. You have this unknown, and then you figure it out, and then it's like the day starts over again, and then it's a new unknown. So
I'm in my unknown phase of everything's unknown. So here I am searching and questioning.
I'm so happy to be in my known. This is what I'm searching for, the beauty in my known. Yeah, just this safe space I've now created, this nice community here in Colorado. It's just really nice to come back to something that I know and appreciate it. Yeah. I'm searching for gratitude.
Are you doing anything to actively practice it?
And yeah, practicing it in my workplace, just constantly trying to learn and be better, and not just treat it as like a job that I'm gonna leave. Treat it as like something I'm building and achieving and being successful in. That's another practice I've been doing, is slowing down, which I think is something also after traveling you have gratitude for, is slowing down, routine
And slowing down. Again, very difficult to obtain when traveling.
Yeah.
Which also you don't appreciate
Yeah.
until you go and you travel and you lose that system and that ability to cultivate it. And I think for myself, it was while traveling, the practice of not getting mad at myself for not having those things. Because I was so upset, where I was like, I just want some sense of routine, or I want some sense of groundedness, or like, why can't I find this in myself? Like, I'm my best permanency. I'm my own home. Why can't I find that within me? And I think there's a degree you can find that. And also at the same time, I don't know, that's not everlasting. There's a reason that we found the place of settling, especially now in the world that we live in. And settle gets such a bad rap.
I know. Back to like appreciating what's in front of me is this idea of this term settling, and I've thought about it a lot with relationships, romantic and intimate relationships recently, and yeah, it has such a negative meaning or connotation in today's society, and like settle could actually be this really beautiful concept of acceptance and surrender. And it doesn't mean you give up, that's not what it doesn't mean you're throwing the towel in. It just means you're not striving for perfection that doesn't exist. Accepting the balance of love and war. It's not all love. It's not all love and happiness. It's love and war. The happiness wouldn't exist without the depression. And yeah, the surrender to that.
It's difficult to find that space to surrender, especially when you have all the voices in your head, and whether metaphorical or literal, telling you, oh, you can't settle down. You have to find the perfect home, career, partner, whatever it is. And it's so difficult to find that space of like, I just want to slow down, find myself, root down here. And really, I think that's what settling is supposed to be all about, is cultivating and creating a home. I think it is a very real thing. And I think biologically I'm not necessarily there yet. This is my theory. I'm getting there. Like I'll get the tingles of like, oh, a baby, like, oh, a home and a husband, and then I'm like, no, not yet. But
yeah, I mean, I don't know how long this podcast is. We're about to segue a little bit, but that's kind of back to my my comment about reflecting on me being 26. 3 months I'll be 27. And I do recognize this biological clock. I mean, I think women, even if you don't plan on having kids, like your body is on this rotation. And that is what I think is partially influencing as I enter my late 20s, this feeling of wanting to appreciate what's in front of me. That early 20s chaotic searching is coming to a slow. I think it has a lot to do with this internal clock. I mean, I do want to have children. And so knowing that am I going to keep searching until I'm 40 for the perfect place, partner, and career all at once, just poof, like there, like, or am I going to start surrendering and just recognizing that if the certain things I want in life, I'm going to have to mend and bend the other areas to meet. So, yeah.
What is your priority right now?
I mean, my priority right now, pretty much the only thing I'm sure of is that I want to have children and a family. I feel like I'm like one of the few 20-something-year-old women I know in my life saying that, but that's like pretty much the only thing I'm sure of. I obviously have short career goals and other fun little hobby goals, and I'm working on these other creative projects, but right now the only thing long term I'm so sure of is that I want to go through the experience of childbirth and family and do that with a partner. Yeah, I'm definitely not obsessing over it, but thinking about
prioritizing.
Yeah,
moving that, which I think there's a really strong beauty in being able to admit that.
Yeah,
especially in a world that I think almost frowns upon it.
Yeah, which is so crazy.
Yeah.
It's like we've pushed it too far that now it's wrong for a woman to say she wants to have kids.
I've found so much beauty, and I've met a couple women on my path who have declared like the only thing I want is to be a mother and to have a child.
Yeah.
And I used to honestly have a negative connotation to that. I think before doing the childcare work that I've done, is I used to think like, okay, that's the easy way out, which is what society almost teaches you. Is it's the easy way out. It is anything but.
Yeah, I think the wording on it is part of the, that's the only thing I'm sure I want. It's not that I just want to have kids and then think my life is solved and that now my only purpose is to like be a mother and do nothing else. Like, no, I'm still going to have to, I can't love my kids if I don't love myself. And that's constantly something you have to work on until the day you die, I think. And I can't, what about my partner? Like I have to work on a relationship, which that's not easy either. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, like I'm partaking in society. It's not like I don't plan on working and providing and again doing my own endeavors, whatever they may be. I don't plan to stop traveling, just because I'm all these things. But yeah, it's just the only thing I'm sure of.
In my full honesty, the only thing I'm sure of is down the line, I want a child.
Yeah.
And the best advice I've ever gotten in my life was, if you're going to go and you're going to seek whatever you want to seek, and you have all these big audacious goals that are what others refer to as shooting for the stars, know what your stars are, but know what your moon is.
Yeah.
And for me, my moon was, okay, I know I wanted to have kids, but I know that that's one of them. What is that moon? Okay, childcare work. And that's where working then with nannying or homeschooling gave me that chance to see into this lens of, okay, like this is something I could be doing. Like this motherhood thing is something I actually really do want. I'm not so sure if that actually had that effect. It kind of made me regress a little. But it taught me a lot. And I think it gave me more skills that in the event that I now questioning my certainty of being a mother.
Of course.
But in the event that that does end up happening, now I have all these tools that I can put into practice and all these things that I've learned. And it was such a beautiful experience in both ways. So, I don't know. I think, again, just the declaration for craving motherhood is in a way liberating in itself, because so many of us are confined to think that that's not liberation and that's not freedom. But I've seen from so many mothers just the beauty of motherhood. So in many ways we talk about liberation as a woman, as a mother, all those things, but what does freedom mean to you?
Freedom to me is self and security in self. And now I've recently dove into the sommelier career. If you didn't know, wine, it can get really nerdy, which I love. Like, huge world to study. And yeah, I went after my certification as a sommelier, which is basically just, test to qualify you to sell wine, pair wine, taste wine. And yeah, that's the direction I've been in, because wine it's super worldly, everywhere, all the time when I'm traveling. I can just randomly introduce it, randomly, even when I was in Japan, doing sake tastings. I spent some time in Italy too, picking grapes, just being able to dive into that wherever I am. I think seeing that career kind of shoot off so quickly and so passionately in just 2 years for me was the next level of freedom from, breaking out of that standard box mold. Oh, not only did I ditch the college degree, which the experience of that is still, I'm very thankful for it. And I'm very thankful for that background, because it helps me figure out how to study to pass my sommelier exam. But being able to then see a career develop out of nowhere and run with it was very freeing to me. It just kind of gave me the security of, I don't know, like I'm going to be okay. As long as I'm committed and focused and there, it doesn't have to be this one set track. You can just kind of follow your passions and your interests, and it actually can return to you. Now with this job, I made enough money this last winter to travel this whole summer. Not that everything is financial, but it did, in a lot of ways, things are financial. And that's freedom to me, is being able to express yourself and make money doing that. Mm-hmm. Being able to express yourself and feel growth, see growth. I mean, learning to do something, learning about something as an adult is so rewarding, and it's very freeing.
And I think also too, wine wasn't something that you were passionate about prior to, right? It was something...
I mean, it was something I was interested in, but It wasn't... I didn't even know I could be as passionate about it as I am. I just liked it.
You're like, oh, I'm into this. Let's see.
Yeah, I liked it. And I also thought it was unattainable. That's something else too. I thought, that's, again, back to freedom. I thought you had to have these super spidey senses and be this super gifted, like, born with the ability to taste all these flavors. And I totally learned you don't. Mm-hmm. I mean, of course, there are people that are like that are very successful, but you really can just train your palate, which is awesome. And same, that's why I love living in the community I live in now. It's like learning how to snowboard. It's back to like learning things as an adult. Now trying to learn Japanese, It seemed like something, when you take something you thought was so out of your scope, I never, ever, ever would have believed I could say sentences in Japanese. Like, what? And then you just sit down and commit yourself to it, and you can do it. And it's actually that easy.
That's to learn things again, especially as an adult, has been the most, in many ways, freeing thing.
Yeah.
It connects you so deeply to your inner child in one aspect, but also, too, just allows you to dive deeper into who you are.
Yes.
I don't know. I think for me, it's like always the challenge of like, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. Oh, damn, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Like that transition.
Yeah.
It's so rewarding. I mean, I feel like I'm doing that right now with the podcast. I don't care. I want this bad enough. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to devote myself to doing it. Maybe one day this will figure itself out.
And then what else? What else can you think of that you can then just do?
And learn, I think. And that's the saddest thing. I've seen more often than not and talked with older individuals who are like, I can't learn anything anymore. My brain won't let me learn anything anymore. And I don't believe that. I truly believe like when you write yourself off from being able to learn things is when you fully confine yourself.
Die.
Yeah, right? When you die, you could still be alive here walking this earth in this body. But if you have fully written off, I can't learn anymore, I don't think you're really living. That, I think, is the art of living, is learning. People write themselves off from learning when they're done with school.
Yeah, which is, it's so crazy, you know? Then they just, this like standard office structure today. I don't mean to I don't mean to shit on the office either, because I do have a lot of friends that have been unbelievably successful in their quote-unquote office jobs that have done incredibly creative, amazing things and totally outside of the box. Yeah, I just mean, you know, I see it in this ski bum restaurant culture. I mean, there are people who just come to work and don't want to do anything but be as mindless as they possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, to each their own.
I think it can be satisfying in certain degrees, but I think more often than not, those are the people who haven't pursued their passions or what they want.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we all have our different, what's ticking inside of us that makes us yearn and want for something.
Yeah.
And I just think, like, again, if you can show up for your job every day with passion and full presence, that's a gift that you can give yourself anywhere in any position you're in, even if you're not passionate about it. And then to add in that extra, like, I look at it as like layers of a cake, but that extra layer of, okay, now I'm passionate about this too, that's even then further a blessing.
Yeah.
But you'll usually get there from showing up from the appreciation and gratitude of where you currently are.
I can appreciate whatever is in front of me because I know I can find beauty in it.
That's all about perspective.
Yeah.
Which I think you can be granted through the lens of travel, through the lens of education, through the lens of, there's so many paths to take to get to this end destination of perspective.
True. Very thankful for that. But it's very true.
It's a matter of, can I look at this and see it as something beautiful? Can I look at this and take a step back and understand that I'm only here in this moment now?
Yeah.
Because most people are not even thinking about the perspective that they're taking in. They're moving through life, through the daily motions, not giving themselves those seconds of, I'm here. Holy crap, I'm here. And now it's a matter of, for you, it's now you're finding yourself back in a place that you can call home, which I'm sure means a lot. And for me to be here is to not be in the thoughts, but to just be sitting here in the present moment, being so actively here. I'm not anywhere else outside of this room.
Yeah.
Which is a difficult thing for me. But to find your different perspectives of presence, to then be able to appreciate the true beauty of whatever is in front of you. And beauty is, in my opinion, a matter of perspective. You can look at anything and find it beautiful if you look hard enough. Most people don't want to take the time to look hard enough. If you could offer one piece of advice for somebody who's seeking liberation or freedom of the mind, within the self, whatever it might be, what would that advice be?
A quote I was told a few years ago. Anything, not everything. And the idea is that you can have anything you want in life. If you want it and that's all you want. You cannot have everything. You have to choose. You have to make choices. And yeah, I think liberation in this idea of living without regret, because every single day you are going to have to make a choice. You are going to have to, decide what time you're going to wake up. You're going to have to decide who you're going to see. You're going to have to decide what you're going to eat for breakfast. Like, you will constantly be guiding yourself through this life. And as far as I'm concerned, you only get one. And so far as my own consciousness is concerned. And just serenity in this idea of this one path you choose is the one you chose. So don't sit there regretting it. Don't sit there wondering, what if I did this 2 years ago? What if I, like, wasn't friends with this person? What if, like, there's so much liberation in loving and accepting, sincerely accepting the choices you've made and the direction you're moving. And that's my advice. Anything, not everything. You can't live 100, 1,000 lives. You can only live once.
Someone said to me once, I hate the philosophical meaning behind the term YOLO. But the things are really there. And
you only live once. Yeah, you know, I also always thought, I think the YOLO concept gets this, go do something crazy. And what I like about the anything, not everything, personally for me, why it's really good to hear, is because I want to do so much in life. You know, I want to do all these things. And I get sometimes overwhelmed by it, or some days I'm like, oh my God, I want to be crazy and have this sick career. Like, some days I sit there and I'm like, oh my God, I want to be a yoga instructor and like,
just want to teach yoga.
And the point is, like, you have to choose. You have to make your life. You have to decide what you're going to do and who you're going to be with and where you're going to live and the music you're going to play, and just own it. Just live it and own it, because it's freeing to accept your path and yourself. Yeah.
Is there a certain way that you find guidance in the choices you make, or is it just more finding content in the choices that you have made?
It's content. It's the fact that I can't undo it. It's the fact that I'm already, and sure, you can change things. So if you made a decision and, oh shit, that was an awful decision, you can do things then to mitigate the repercussions of that. But don't sit there like hating yourself. Don't sit there wondering forever, what if, you know?
And before we wrap up, is there anything you really hope that a listener would get from this podcast? If a person has listened to this, our whole conversation, what is something you hope that they get from this?
Courage to do whatever the hell it is you want to do. No, it's all going to be okay. And I don't know. It's okay to be outside the box or be inside the box or be weird. I don't know. Just courage to be yourself. Be sincere. Honesty, sincerity. Very, very nice ways of being in life with each other, with yourself. Just genuine and sincere with each other. I ask the listeners, and I offer myself to you and myself to be sincere.
Beautiful. Genuinely beautiful. I'm so grateful to have had you here and to be able to do this.
Podcast in the bed.
Hopefully we can move from a bed. I feel cringy starting it every time.
I mean, it's fine. It's a podcast.
It's supposed to be cringy.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't like that. Low budget podcast, guys.